Hey everybody, welcome to Bomb Squad. I'm Dan Stacy, and you're about to witness my nerdy family and I use silly voices and exploding dice to tell a good story as we enter into episode 4 of this session. RPG MRE is Stay Awake. Protein hot chocolate and
Diet Coke.
Diet Coke.
There you go.
And no one will know this until afterwards, hopefully in behind the scenes afterwards as well. So join the Ever-Growing Forest if you want to get access to that. And let's dive into the most revealiest episode of Bomb Squad. We dive back in.
That's my favorite dive-in ever.
And something.
Only those behind the scenes will know how great it was. I'm not gonna put on it. No, that was special. It was my fault.
Okay.
All right. Here we go.
Stolen.
Is that how that works?
Oh.
Comment below if that's how that works.
He was indignant.
Zach says
That's the rules.
I don't think Brick's gonna give his heart back anymore.
No.
it's already out.
Wait a minute. We know from Arc 2
Guys.
that nothing actually happens.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Canon.
We just explained that it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
catheterized both ways.
It wasn't me.
It was Julie. Both ways.
It's episode 4. Can you tell? We're late. Thank you, David, as always.
It's like episode
I feel
1.
like
Yeah.
our bar for this kind of attitude is slowly increasing the number of episodes. Like, well, it's episode 1, people. It's episode 2. We're carrying over.
It's episode,
It's
people.
episode
We're on episode.
We're on episode. All right, guy, we got serious stuff.
Okay.
We got serious
Oh, yeah.
stuff here.
All right.
So,
Tears, death, destruction, despair.
Burning.
And we're
bird.
back.
and we're back.
Let me
I
get
really,
a character.
I really want him to do his Liv Tyler. Don't do it.
Is what?
Your Liv Tyler.
My Liv Tyler. Oh, from Lord of the
Arwen.
Rings.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, Arwen. Okay. Anyways.
It'll have its moment.
So
Its place.
the party has tumbled back in, having successfully captured what is left of the dragon's soul. Brick bears it right now, but the flame is slowly dying. As you guys tumbled back in, the time spell that Grandfather had cast has ended, and the War of the Gods has begun. As Ulkan wishes to claim the soul of the betrayer, the White Dragon, Nahazik has sided, as of now, with Idalia and Marosha and Theron. And the dragon is tearing apart at the seams. And in his insanity, in his almost like death throes, he blasts fire at the heart of Dyatos and at the party and Grandfather. Theron stepped in, taking the full brunt of the power of the White Dragon, and has burned to ash, blowing across the heart of Dyatos, and Iliad's tattoos have faded from power. Everyone is taking the fatigue levels from their deific items. And as the war begins, it's almost like all of you can't breathe for a moment, as if there's just, it's so, like you're in a small room and a million guns have gone off, and the smoke and the powder in there is choking out the air for you. Idalia, Marosha, and Grandfather weave a magical barrier around you with shadow and water mingling with vine and tree wrapping around you, and clockmaker runes all about. You can see through and you can see what is unfolding. almost as if in slow motion slightly with the grandfather's protection, you have a brief time here to recover for a second and escape this war that has begun. And I think we'll cut over to Quinn first.
Okay. Brick, when you're done texting,
I'm writing
could
a
you
note
hand me
that I'm fatigued.
Oh, gotcha.
He's making a log on his HUD.
Captain's log.
Fatigued.
Fatigued.
Level 1. Strictly social situations.
Such as this one right now. Brick,
Yes.
Brick. Brick. I can take it now. Hand it to me.
You can almost hear the beating slowing with each rhythm,
Yeah.
with each repetition.
He... Mom, I'm not sure what to do. I need to save him. If this is all what's left. I need to save him. I think he has the realization of this looks and feels a lot like the one that I have. Right? This could be mine. And so he has the string, and he's playing with the gold string and kind of coddles the flame, the heart, and he pulls out the toolkit and he rolls it out. And at that moment, Archelon, you get a flash in the forehead. Archelon's not physically present, but you get the flash in the forehead and the tinkle of crystal, and it's the... I know. This is gonna hurt. Be with me, brother. He's gonna take the thread. He's gonna start to sew the flame. Middle of his heart starts to glow, and his flame, his flame comes out of his chest. And he starts to stand there, or he's kneeling. I mean, he's exhausted. Quinn is exhausted, and he starts to sew the flames. He's literally sewing flames together as they are flickering, as they're going, and you see him wincing, and it is very painful for him to do this, but he's essentially sewing in the flames so that they are connected to each other, and little by little the flame of the dragon's heart gets a little bit brighter and a little bit more, and to the point where they converge to be one, and the gold thread is laced throughout, and the thread, for the most part, you can't even see it anymore. The flame has burned bright enough where you can't even see where the threads are. It's this perfect, seamless, flaming heart. And the crystal flashes one more time, and he takes it, and he brings it to himself, and he just holds it, and he pushes it back into his own heart, and he's crying. It's very painful, very clearly very painful for him, and he pushes it back in, and he just sits there, and he's just breathing heavy, and he knows, and Mother, it's done. I have him. He's here. He's here.
think she would say something to the effect of, just because I want to hear it in Kristen's voice, but as he always was in you, you are his legacy carried on.
As he always was in you, you are his legacy that carries on. You feel the warmth?
Iliad,
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
Can I describe some at this point?
Please.
Or is it taken away?
No, I'm done.
As he says that, I don't know. I pictured Iliad's already like, I don't know, in relation to where you are, but he already dropped to his knees, just kind of stunned, shocked.
I like the idea that Iliad is forward from everybody and
Yeah.
literally in the ashes of the Falcon.
So, and we hadn't gone through the portal yet, right?
You guys are now, you're
still on
you're
that.
right by the heart of Daitos. The heart of Daitos is in with you guys in this protective barrier right now, and you're kind of seeing the battle unfold in slow motion. And you can see, even as time passes, you can see the barrier starting to crack and break. It won't hold forever,
Okay.
but you have a moment.
Anyways, so back to that. Yes, Quinn.
I'm so sorry.
It can't be right. It doesn't make sense. Why does everyone leave? I feel like he's just staring out, still at the
Yeah.
ash is still coming down.
Yeah. No, absolutely. We'll come back to Iliad in a minute. Let's cut over where everyone else is right now. If anyone else.
Brick is like I don't know if anybody else has experienced this, but like you know those times after you, like when you experience profound grief, there's like this moment afterward that's almost like a high, like when you're ready to take a breath, and it's like, okay, that I got through that, and now I'm ready to take on the world. Brick, after B's funeral and getting invited by grandfather, Brick was there, and now it's like after that high, it's just getting face planted into mundane reality at its best. Like as if there's this feeling that the grief must mean something, it must have a purpose, and I'm gonna strive for that purpose. But then you get smacked with life, and the situation just, oh, maybe there's nothing. So that's where Brick is right now.
Nice.
𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒂, thank you for trusting me.
You did amazing.
We
We couldn't have done it without you.
thank you. It means the world to me. Right now, and Pim Pam's gonna like look around at like seeing like where Brick is and where and struggling with the disillusionment of grief and Iliad lost and Quinn grieving and Aurora broken. I don't think there's anything more we can do here. But they still need a leader. Someone to tell them how to move on. We're still on the battlefield. So, I know this might be kind of hard, but she's gonna like secure your arm around her neck and kind of give you like a brace in a moment. 1, 2, and just gonna like lift Aurora up, getting her on her feet, and guys, listen up. We're not done here. Pull them together.
I don't know if it's necessarily going to be words, but more of a, like, one hand on each shoulder at a time. Probably starting with Iliad, and then to Brick, and then to Quinn, kind of bringing us all in closer to a huddle kind of thing. This world is never going to be the same. Whatever happens, let's face it together.
Cracks begin to grow in the barrier. And you start to hear as time starts speeding up outside, you actually see 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒂 slicing in, and the dragon, even as his skin and scales are starting to shred off, and there is like the form of a dark dragon underneath, as if a shadow of a dragon, smashes down onto 𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒂, crushing him, and you actually see him come in and bite and rip 𝒂𝒂's head off and slice, and as he roars, the flame, now with this greenish tint, comes out. You see 𝒔𝒂𝒂𝒔, always with a slight smirk, actually helping with 𝒔𝒆𝒂𝒂 as they fight against the dragon and some of the other forgotten and wandering gods, these deities from the edges of reality, fighting alongside the dragon. And Grandfather is protecting at all times the barrier, moving here and there. You're seeing multiples of him sometimes. And as the green flame comes out of the dragon, Arkiro speaks up. And actually, would you do his voice?
Sure.
I should have thought of this ahead of time. And read the final portion of the 𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒔𝒕𝒆𝒂𝒔, starting at "For as my blood."
For as my blood poured out on stone, I saw at last our great house truly fall. The pillars gave way, verdant flame consumed all. Then stone cracked, and wretched wolf bay, for by their own greed were they betrayed. Reborn anew, forgotten son, and I, and my uncounted songs, his sword and strength, and his be mine. Raise up your sword, beloved one. Stand with me before the sun. Two brothers, now one. Great deeds be done, great deeds to dread. Father's heart is lost, now too his head.
As he finishes, the heart of Daiatos beats intensely, and it rocks the whole inside of this barrier. It makes the ground shake, and the ashes of the falcon that Iliad is kneeling in bounces up. And Iliad, you hear the voice of the falcon. Althane. In life, we have grown. The beating heart, it starts to glow, and blood and water start pouring further and mingling with the ashes, and they start to glow. Through death, we rise. As the barrier starts to break, out of the ashes, a white flame bursts forth. And Iliad, you scream in pain as your tattoos light up again, as the falcon is reborn as the phoenix out of the ashes. And the dragon is being crushed down by Marosha and Nahazak and Adalia and the grandfather, bringing him down. And as he bursts forth, he cries this bird scream, and proclaims with that scream his new domain as he takes the place of the white dragon and rushes in to join the fight. But no matter how much they're assaulting him, the dragon keeps fighting back. And Arkiro looks at Quinn.
It is time. Two brothers, now one. It is time. Use the fire from your father's heart. Join with me, and we will end this. Come, my brother. So the flame starts to glow from...
Quinn's using his
I'm
narrative.
using my narrative item.
Deific
in
item.
this one. The flame, which has my father's soul in it, and mine have merged, and now with Archelon and Arkiro and all of us, I turn back into dragon form, but it is much bigger. But there's a different aspect to this. I have the crystal scales, I have the wings, I have that. But joining in the fight, there's this ability to shift from the full pure dragon that was on my father's side, in just pure and absolute rage and passion and strength, and it shifts, and he's in a human form, very similar to Quinn, but he doesn't have any of the dragon familiar features to him. His horns are not horns, they're full antlers, like an elk, really big. He's got kind of like this fur mane. If you know who Kraven the Hunter is from like Spider-Man, he's got just this great epic thing. He's got a cheetah tail. So think of, if you will, the AI art that I did for Quinn's new character. It's very similar to that. It's very beautiful. It's very plant and flowers. He's got like hooves and almost like a satyr instead of his feet. And he has a crystal spear that also works as a bow, and it's the exact shape and length as Arkiro's spear when he had his. And if I remember correctly, you still have the head of Arkiro's spear.
I think I do actually.
You have the original,
Yeah.
Arkyro's original spear.
Yeah.
Because the newer one was used to make egress.
Right. And you very clearly recognize that. And so as we join, there's this shifting of being a part of the dragon and shifting and then going into the human, and I am fully merging into both sides of who I am, both my mother in the natural world and then my father with the primal dragons, and I am their entirety at the same time. And there's this shift back and forth, and so I am able to fight both with all of creation and heal and restore and reset balance, and then at the same time be able to have the might and the passion and the energy that comes from the primal dragons themselves. And I join the fight.
Beautiful. I'm going to throw something out to you guys. I think first, Iliad's going to be invited into the battle as well. If you are willing to use...
To the battle with the white dragon?
Yeah. To join your new deity, the Phoenix. Would you be down to use your narrative item, or do you just want to be flavor?
Why not?
Look at him.
So
You don't have to do anything right now. It just happens. Okay. What do you imagine as the Phoenix? You and the Phoenix are now fighting as one team alongside of the other deities and Quinn and Arkyro.
So when you were describing what happened with the Falcon, the transformation into the Phoenix, I felt like when you were the heart was beating, like by the second beat, it was that, it closes up, if it was a visual, closing up on Iliad's eyes, because his eyes were shut and tears are streaming down his face, but at that second beat, his eyes open. And is almost almost begins to realize what's going on. Arms outstretched. His head starts to lift up to actually see. And feel like the wisps of wind around him start spinning around him, and he almost turns into like a flaming cloud type thing to be swept up in towards the Phoenix.
Nice.
and somehow unites in that way.
Yes. No, I love that.
Okay.
I love that. And I think the two of you, it's almost like a burning phoenix and this smaller, like a younger form. You two are surrounding and fighting off, just like you did for Aurora. You are defending the main battle, keeping these deities, these gods, these forgotten ones, Cthulhu-esque creatures and monsters that have sided are all coming in, and you and the Phoenix are keeping them at bay as Quinn and Arkelon step into the main fray. At the same time, would you be interested to be able to do the same with...
So...
I know I'm throwing this at you all of a sudden.
Oh no! I mean, I've already got my angles. What's the high seat doing?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Because he was with Saint Neri.
Yeah.
He's... man, it's tough because he is overwhelmed by this.
Good.
As well, yeah.
Is he kind of wide-eyed at what's happening here?
I believe so, yes. He's in a worshipful pose, I think it's almost what it is. Almost, you know what? It's this worshipful pose, and he is looking beyond all of it, almost as if none of it is happening and none of it matters to him. That's what it is.
Is he gone? Indicating like the high seat. Just, we think we should take him back with us. I hope you'd have a new point of view after this, but I don't know.
I think he's dead, Pim. He's already gone. He's a shell.
Better for them if they can't share their side of the story. My other thought is, do you need to fight on the other side of this? Because I'll protect you if you have to step into death and see what's happening on that end. There must be some repercussions there too. Otherwise, I can take you back home. Get your rest up at the tower with family.
Let's see what's in death.
Want to follow him down? All right. Pim Pam is going to teleport behind the high seat and more or less decapitate him if this is a possibility, but basically wants to put herself on one side, Aurora on the other, a battle pose between them, because there can't be more than a round with Aurora's condition. So, like, both of us, like, swords out and ready, just up here, just like on either side of him, and just neck. Just scissor it off. And
Nice.
then Pim Pam will defend Aurora while she's here, while she descends into death to see what's happening there.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, let's do it. We don't need to roll or anything. We're going to make
Okay.
this one a narrative one. So what I think we'll have you guys do, because you're entering into it and everything, is each of you will take another level of fatigue after this to do that. And this will wrap all nicely. I think we'll come to Brick one last time if there's any... What is Brick doing specifically right now?
I don't think he's doing anything.
Do you want any deity to interact with him or anything, or...
Not particularly. I don't think he would. He's not home here, so this is not.
Right.
This is not his domain, and he's not gonna. Literally, you're watching gods fight, so
Right.
power armor isn't gonna do anything for that. So he's just going to accept that. He's gonna watch and wait.
Cool. I like the idea that maybe he's going to be ready to swoop in and collect everybody back together with jetpacks. What do you think about that?
Sure. Yeah.
Eventually, because he'll be the one that's still waiting. Everyone else is going in. Okay. So everything's going to happen all at once as Iliad and the Phoenix are taking on all the surrounding deities. Pim Pam and Aurora blip in. And you know what he's going to say.
Oh, he can say it.
In life we grow. And he doesn't even resist. In death we rise. And Aurora, you dive into death. What are you looking for in particular?
I just want to see what is happening there.
Okay. You're following him specifically. As you enter into death, the Sea of Stars is as if water is boiling. The entire place is in as much war and chaos as in this realm. And you can actually see the other aspect of Marosha within the Sea of Stars itself, fighting and battling. The walls have come out. There are now new ones that are almost as large as the shepherds, and they're battling and fighting, and the shepherds are fighting against them. And there is now, at the edge, wherever you look in the circle of the Sea of Stars, at the edge is something that is sucking and draining the water, sucking it in as if there's a black hole. And you see the soul of the High Seat just falling back and letting him be consumed into the emptiness, into this black hole. And you hear a voice whispering at the edge. You hear again those sounds, those screams of voices, all of these voices screaming and begging for death, begging to be free. And a voice whispers just on the edge of your hearing, almost could be the High Seat's voice saying, I am life. I am death. I am holy. I am God. At the same time, Quinn, what's it looking like in the battle with the dragon? As the other deities are beginning to be able to strain, just as Pim Pam had done before, it's almost like this battle, this cycle of battle is repeating itself, making an opening as you're clawing and fighting with the white dragon again.
What does it look like?
What's that cinematic moment?
I think for Quinn, not quite certain how to be able to, what he specifically can or cannot do. I mean, he's at a level that he's never been before. He's seeing the potential of being one of the primordial dragons and being not even just a thing that is created, but almost like creation itself, right? He is feeling the fullness of both things, and he knows essentially the only way to stop anything is to its heart. And so he's going to focus all of his energy and attention, and he's just focusing all of his attack on one part, one spot, right in the middle of the dragon's chest. And no matter what happens around him, no matter what all the other deities are doing, he is just shooting it with the Arkyro's energy arrows from his spear bow. He is stabbing it with his spear. As a dragon, he's pouring out his energy breath and clawing at it, absolute everything that he can from a flyby, and he's latching on, and everything is just at one specific point to be able to get to his heart. And he's digging, and he is getting his way through and in, and that's his entire focus, entire intent.
I'm going to tweak something a little on you.
Go for it.
Right. As you get in and dig in all of this fighting, that shifting between the Prince of the Woods and the dragon and dancing around in this fight, digging in and clawing in, at a point, you actually do break through. And when that break happens, it's almost similar to that whole soul palace collapsing. That as you break through, all of a sudden it's as if this black hole is sucking it in, and the whole thing starts... But the head keeps going and biting. It bites into Marosha's arm, and it lashes out fire at Adalia. And they are fighting, and the head will not stay. It's the one thing that's staying, as the whole body is kind of... And it goes to bite for Quinn.
I think he takes the spear, and he throws the spear, and he wants to, as its mouth is coming in, the spear is going to go right through the mouth and enter out the other side.
Very nice.
I think maybe I imagine the head's still coming.
Yeah.
I think recognizing that Quinn's gonna jump in and see if he can do it from the inside out.
Oh, okay. Very cool. And you are going to do that.
Yeah,
We'll find out how rough it is later.
indeed.
What's that final look as the head comes off?
He calls Archelon back, Arcuro, and there's this moment of pure joining. How do you say this? I'm a big Final Fantasy fan, so I'm going to call...
Go for it.
One of the biggest moves in Final Fantasy ever is called Omnislash. And it's just the main character just going, and there it's like 30 or 40 strikes against just one person. And so he's in the middle, essentially right at the base of the skull, right where the brain is, where the skull attaches, and he is switching in and out between the dragon and between the Prince of the Wood, and he is shooting and flailing and clawing and biting, and he's doing it all at the same time, and it becomes this point where you can't tell which form he's in, and he's just doing everything to cut everything just right off, and there's just this explosion from the back of the neck.
Nice.
And there's nothing left to attach the head, and so it peels off, and you can just see this, like, the skin and the scales from the underside of the neck just kind of fall off, and the giant head just falls, and he's there, and he's still, and there's this phase where he just blips and he phases back in and out of being the Prince of the Wood and the Dragon, and you just see him as both at the same time.
That's beautiful. As the prophecy is fulfilled and the head falls to the ground, the deities, Marosha, Idalia, the Phoenix, and Grandfather specifically, start pulling at ropes at these threads and pulling, and there's threads coming from each of you, even from Brick, that tie, and this is from you guys succeeding in all these challenge events, as they tie the headless body of the dragon down, staking it into the ground here as it's still thrashing and trying to reach, trying to grab, even though there's no head, but it is tied down. The power that you guys have invested in it, the blessed item even sends out this thread, and it is tied down and held down flat and tight to the ground. And the fight of all these deities is starting to branch away as everyone is fleeing and going back to their strongholds to prepare for the next phase of this war. But before everyone leaves, as kind of there's this lull in the battle and everyone falls back, and there's this moment where the head falls down, before we find out what happens, Iliad and Quinn, we need to see if you guys survived. So you can roll will or fortitude. For every 10 you roll, it reduces you from your fatigue level. Iliad has 1 fatigue and Quinn has 2 currently. So we're starting at 7 for Iliad, which is past death, and 8 for Quinn.
So I need to roll an 80.
You need to roll a minimum of 3 to live, a 30.
Yeah.
And Iliad needs to roll a minimum of 20.
David, don't you have
all
from
your
the D4?
I do.
So what we've done is do the roll, and then we'll see about spending to add back to it as all the other characters invest in you guys.
Ooh.
21.
21. So Iliad is at a 5 right now.
5 what?
A fatigue level 5, which is 1 away from death.
Oh.
You're not dead yet.
You're not dead, but you will
what
be
matters.
unconscious. How's Quinn doing?
I rolled a 14.
14. Quinn is at a 7. He's 1 below death.
Like a A 3, 4, or a 1.
Oh, that's awesome. That Iliad steps in during the battle too.
3, 4, or a 1. What would be most
As
beneficial?
Quinn literally collapses after that epic moment and everyone's seeing him.
He's just falling. Like a
Literally.
star. I mean, he's just.
Yep.
He's gone.
Can I spend a legend point?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
So just roll another die and add it to it.
Yeah.
Roll one of your attribute die. Yeah, ding ding.
Throw it.
Ha!
Sorry, it woke me up a little bit more.
You can roll a D1 and you always get 3.
Hey, I got a 3.
Teasing.
So I got a 22.
Okay, so Quinn is at death. Quinn is currently at death now. He needs to get up to a 30 to survive.
So
What resources are we spending?
Aurora has a lucky.
I have
Sure.
I have a D3 lucky as well.
Okay.
I'll use his D20.
All right, we're starting with the D20.
14.
That does it.
So that does it.
Puts you at 5. So both. So Iliad, what's it look? Because it was all. I mean, you guys can come in and help them in a second because they'll need help at the end. Yeah. This is just to survive death.
Right.
As the Phoenix and Iliad come back in, I think Iliad catches Quinn as he's collapsing. Before he falls.
Before he collapsed.
Before he collapses. And there's this shared flame. The flame, maybe your heart, your all-consuming flame is going low, and Iliad coming in with the fire of the Phoenix, newly reborn, the fire of new life, reignites it enough, and then you both collapse to the floor, alive but unconscious.
Yep.
Well done, guys. So you guys will have to figure out how to pick them up in just a second.
Fatigue levels.
Actually, let's hear how you're going to do it, because we were talking about Pim Pam and Brick. You guys are going to work together, because Brick's going to sweep in and grab everybody, so Pim Pam can then whip everybody out.
Yeah. So yeah, if he's going in to like pick them up, pull them out of the battle, then Pim Pam can just grab everyone and pull them out of the realm with some assistance. Or she like right now her plan is like see how far I can get and see if maybe grandfather had a hint at something about hinting at boundaries and what's beyond.
Yes.
And you said that the bounds of this world looked like they were cracking.
That was the Sea of Stars was being sucked into the black hole. But I like the idea of...
Our barrier was cracking.
The barrier.
Oh, the barrier was cracking. That was protecting you guys. However, I like the idea that as you're finishing off the high seat, and there's this moment where you're standing there taking the battle, because he had this almost perfect look over the whole battle and was just worshiping in it. So you're finishing him. His body goes and Aurora, goes ice. Pim Pam standing there, and grandfather could say, "Wait for the moment. Be prepared."
Are you gonna be alright?
We can only find out by going on the adventure.
That is how we can.
I will give you everything I have. Be prepared.
On your mark.
I really think, with what we had talked about before, that Pim Pam is using a narrative as well
I'll
to
take
do
it.
this.
All right.
I think if that's all right, so we'll have some flavor on what that looks like.
Yeah. Give me a second to dig something up because the narrative item doesn't. From where I can see it, give me 60 seconds. I'll have you something.
Because as Pim Pam is powering up for that, and Aurora, this is happening as you're coming back out of death, and you're hearing those words, and there is a lull, a brief lull. The dragon's body quivers. And then, Aurora, as you come back out of death, you're still hearing those voices. Thousands upon thousands of voices begging, screaming, whispering to be killed. Let me die. There's these voices just coming, and what you realize is that you're actually hearing them. All of you, even, we'll say that you guys are still conscious of what's happening. You're just so exhausted you physically can't move. you all hear these voices, thousands of voices, and they're coming out of the carcass of the dragon. And these strange arms of flesh and growths of some kind start slamming out of him. And
Huge big ones?
yes.
Like how many of them?
10.
I planned the whole time.
Yes. But it's not that there is a direct form. There is just these appendages that are coming out, and they almost, the farther and deeper you look at them, the more they look like different people fleshed and bound together. And there's almost a pressing, as if faces and body parts are pressing against underneath it. And it's pressing, but the bonds that have been placed on it are holding for now, as it's reaching and pressing against it. And the head of the dragon lying apart begins to speak. I think I want Pim Pam's teleport description if you're feeling ready, which will happen after this.
I have the deific item that I'm going to use to get everyone home.
What's that?
It's the heart of Daitos. It's beating in the center of this realm.
Oh.
But grandfather explained that he sacrificed himself to make the bounds of the world and to bind the stream. It's the way home.
That's perfect.
So
I like that a lot.
Pim Pam is
done.
going to like lead everyone up to the heart. Is going to take egress, form it into the Keyblade form that it can be, looking and envisioning and imagining the heart feeding out to the world as streams of the boundaries and the sinews that hold it together, kind of envisioning the rest of the world as all of Daitos, and this being the heart, just the passageway to all of those places, is going to put the key up to the heart and focus on home. That's the
beautiful.
connection to her peace, her heart, the place that, you know, grandfather has been calling home, the place that she finds home.
Yeah.
That's her heart, this is his, and with that she's going to insert the key, unlock a piece of it, whatever that may look like. You flavor that, and then she's going to, again, not so much as leap, but step with confidence through this barrier, knowing it steps to where she needs to be.
I love this. I would add a little bit that you open it, gesturing as Brick sweeps in, picking up Iliad and Quinn, and Aurora hopefully is running right behind.
Well, Pim Pam will be carrying her.
Pim Pam's carrying Aurora. That's perfect. Yeah, as you guys are limping in, opening the door, and Brick, the jetpacks are flaring, the orrery's spinning, getting the boys. And as you guys are heading towards this, while you're heading towards this going in, we're going to save the description we talked about for next session, so we can all have time to talk about that. So stay tuned for that, because I think that'll be a nice way to go into next session. Because we're going to end with the voice that speaks out of the dragon's head as you guys are escaping. And, here we go. So again, as this is all happening, thousands of voices are begging. There's some speaking normally, some screaming, some whispering. The voices of souls begging to be killed. And this monstrous creature crawling its way out, almost angrily, as it has been forced to be revealed.
I'm sorry, Austin.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You want to turn up the speaker there on that end?
I can hear you. Is someone there? Is anyone there? Can you kill me? Will you kill me, please?
I want to go home.
I know someone's there.
I'd like to die now.
Where am I?
You need to kill me.
Can I die now?
I just want to go home.
Is anyone there?
I don't want to be here anymore.
Will you kill me?
I want to die! Please kill me.
Can you help me?
Who's there?
Can someone help me?
Kill me. You have to die.
I need to die. Can you help me?
I want you to kill me.
Can you kill me?
Please kill me! Please kill
Can
me.
someone help me?
Kill me now.
I need to
Please
die.
kill me.
I'd like to die now.
I want you to kill me. He's forever.
An appendage comes out of the body, attaching to the head and lifting the dragon's head up. It is now wearing the dragon's head as if a skull, and this mouth of fungus and flesh comes out. And you guys pass through the door of 𝒂𝒐𝒆𝒄𝒂. And this has been another fantastical episode of BombSquad, an Avenue Studios production. Do give us a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to follow the adventure. You can further support us and become a part of the ever-growing forest known as Avenue Studios by joining our locals or Patreon community. Doing so not only helps us continue to create high-quality content, but you'll also gain access to bonus content as well as our private Discord where you can chat with us, play games, some really cool West March-style games, and so much more. Don't forget to check the links in the description below for the sound, music, and ambience that we use. Stay awake, Dadbod Fitness, Adam from the Interplanar Crossroads. Thank you, David. And thank you so much for joining the adventure. We will see you next time. All right, bye.